Hey guys, what the hell's going on? Nowhere to look. I'm looking at my stuff. Hi. Yes, so I got my blocking on in the background. That's from the last class, Thessalonians. Well, anyways, I wanted to move on. I'm going to take up the Book of Esther. All right, it's a wonderful story. It's a female situation again, which is really cool. What's it again? Again, it's not often that we get this. All right. But what a wonderful story it is. There's actually 10 chapters. I'm only going to go through 9 of them with you. Okay. It's absolutely wild. But it follows, and you just know right off the bat, this is, of course, Rick Worth's channel. And this channel is going to be talking about the meditation business of our Bible. That this is all talking about the mind and meditation. All right. All of these things, so that should be one of the first hints. I haven't ventured off course. Not once. Not once. Not that I could tell. All right. But even the business behind me, this is a science. And in our Bible, this is how the Bible is written. This should be like pretty clear by people that are signing on or listening in, is that there is a format that's being followed to find this stuff out. That this is not being made up by me. It is being discovered and relayed to you by the Bible itself. So it shouldn't be freaking you out or anything like that, or this idea that that I'm wrong. I would like to say, no, it's the Bible. It all comes right out of our Bible. And I show that. There's none of this being made up. Nothing comes out of mine. But this wonderful story is going to fall along the lines of meditation. And this is a positive story. So what we have is we have a king who has a queen who did not come when he asked her to, and he had seven particular guys to call her up. And of course, she says, hell no. Now, this is an outside approach to things. You have to understand that, and he's kind of like, because in the stories, the thing is when we send our messenger, that's our messenger, we use the Kundalini system, which has 7 different things going on. And the top of it is this woman, is this energy of the the Holy Ghost, this female energy, the queen. And she is at his beck and call. When Father finally calls on her, she is there lickety split. She is not, no, I'm not going to go and parade myself in front of all of him and his friends. I'm not going to do that. That's not how it works. All right. That might be the way the bitch works, the whore. All right. But in this instance, let's let it be. Let's let it be. She has failed the king. And so the king now is going to go and find him another. All right. So this will be chapter 2. Chapter 2, he's going to look for a virgin at that. He's setting this out. He's banished this other woman. All right. Just banished her altogether. Okay. That's the first part gone, is this woman who ain't serving him correctly. That's the first one gone. All right. Now, next thing we go, he's looking for a brand new one. He summons the kingdom. He's looking all over the place, and he does find one. It's her name, Esther. That's not even her name. It means to be hidden. So it's not yet. It's not yet. But he does wind up copulating with her on number 2. All right. Number 2, that's the idea of God's creation. And that's the joining of, or not joining, but it's really about the king and the queen, the land and the water. This is the two different sides of the mind. And here they are showing up as this virgin coming into mind. All right. All right. And see, we get, oh, and at the very end of this particular story, do we get this idea that Mordecai, which is her father or kinsman, one of her kinsmen, I don't think it's the father, overhears two of these people that are working for the king. They're going to try to kill him. All right. And so he lets them know about this. And, you know, well, the idea comes about that that he actually isn't told at this point. What happens is this is the number two. The third phase of this, or the third, that there was, what was I got here? Three, let them be destroyed. Okay. So this plot against the king kind of freaks him out. And it's brought about by a guy that's called Haman. This is Haman and his right-hand man. And because he had heard all this and did this and saved the king gives him all of this wonderful things, you know, brings him up to being a right-hand man. All right. And that's something you got to think about. That right-hand man is going to have to later on, well, I don't know if I can give it all up yet. But the way the story goes is that this particular man, this particular guy, I'm going to say he is a thief in the sense that he goes against what the king asks him to do, and he has his own wants and his own desires and his own motivation. And he goes against what the king asks him to do, but he doesn't tell them or anything like that. It's just something on the side, you know. So I would like to tell you that, you know, there are some people in your kingdom here that are not, you know, bowing to me, or they're not following your law. All right, didn't tell them that. It's not following your law. And what does it do for you to profit anything from these guys? And so this idea is that, you know, on this third party says there's pieces, that there's people in your kingdom, there's wrapped around inside of you that are not profiting you in any way, shape, or form. We'd like to have permission to destroy them. And with your decree and with your ring, I could do all this stuff in a heartbeat. So it's this idea that this guy is wanting to kill off all these Jews. All right. Well, anyhow, this was number three. This is the idea, you know, of we've made this agreement to take out those things that come against the king. All right. And the king says, go ahead, let's do this. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't want to know nothing. All right. So gives him his ring, lets the guy take off, and makes this decree. It's sent all over the world. And oh my God, you know, and the next thing you know, all the Jews are freaking out. Oh no, because it's all about destroying them. All right. All right, then we go on to chapter 4, and chapter 4 is going to be the beginning of Worlds. Worlds is this idea, you know, it's traveling time, you know, and this is the part where when it opens up right off the bat with Mordecai rents his clothing, all right? And we know that means to go into meditation, because it's the idea, it's the act of getting rid of what's outside, breaking the bread to get started. All right. And here it is, starting out on number 4, which is Worlds. It's always about it's time to change. All right. That's the beginning of those worlds. All right. So again, so he puts on the sackcloth and ashes, and then he goes and he finds himself hanging out at the gates of the king's palace. All right. You know, that'd be like right here. That'd be like right before you get here. But actually, it's here because this is where you get up and down. So, you know, he's put on a sackcloth. He's getting going. He's on his way. All right. And so what happens during this particular time? Let's see. He's gathered everyone fast for me. All right. So in chapter 4, does the word is out now, and everyone knows about it, and now even the queen hears about it, because it's all this crying. This man is at the gate, and he's just wailing and crying and yelling and screaming up a storm, and finds out that it's her friend, it's her kinsman. Says, "Well, go and give him these clothes, because he has to wear certain clothes before he can come in." He says, "I can't come in. Male energy is not allowed in the gate anyways. That whole part has to be on the outside." But anyways, the word gets through to her that there is this decree, and it's going to happen at a certain time, and that oh my God, you didn't know anything about this. And he had thought she knew all about it, and she didn't know anything because they didn't know anything. It's it's under wraps. So anyhow, there's maidens being sent back and forth, and this maiden is her help, little black lady in the story. Well, I don't know if she's black. She's in the movie that I saw. All right. But anyways, this is beautiful because she would wind up being the handmaid for, this queen. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. So anyhow, this is also this point in our in here where let's see, they are gathered everyone to fast with me. All right, so this is when she finds out at the end of all of this. She goes, you go and you tell everyone that you can find in all the provinces to fast and not to eat for 3 days and 3 nights and stuff like that. We know about all this business. So everybody sets out on this, and that's number 4. Now, on number 5 is this idea of the body. The body is the bread. It's always this part of us where we do our Last Supper. And she's got this king coming over to a banquet, and she asked that the king brings this Haman guy with him. So it's just those two. All right. And you have to understand that this is the two people. Number 1 is the mind, the king, and number 2 is going to be this second hand or right hand man. All right, the right hand man. And these are thieves. Even the king itself, maybe he is not considered the bad guy, but all these people in his kingdom that are out after the Jews are the bad guys in the story. All right, those that come against the Jews, those enemies of the Jews are the ones that are going to be eradicated from the story. So anyways, on number 5 would wind up being a banquet. When she calls for the banquet, she enters into the inner courts of the king without being summoned. All right, that's what's really cool. So he said, would you come, maybe not to, she sets up for two meetings. All right, that's the idea. Everything's in these twos. You always come by twos, but not just yet. All right. So what we have is this 5th. The 5th is about our body. It's about the banquet and getting father or getting king to come with his friend to drink. All right, and to eat and whatever. That's the idea. They're going up to Kundalini. This is the whole situation. All right. So now on number 6 is the work. 6 is Kundalini. 6 is this stuff. So the king comes up being sleepless now. And while he is sleepless, he has his people come up and read him, some laws or some things that had happened, just recently happened, and found that it was Mordecai that was the one who found out and relayed this message that the king was going to be murdered. And so he says, and what did we do about this? Did we give him anything? So we didn't give nothing to this dude. And who just happened to be walking by, but this Haman guy. And he says, Haman, come in here, check it out. Hey, if I wanted to put somebody on a pedestal or something like that for doing something nice, to the king, what would I do with him? And he says, oh, well, I think I'd put him in your best of clothes, and I'd make him drive around. I'd parade him around on your horse. I'd put your crown on top of his head. I'd make him feel quite welcome. He says, fine, I want you to go do this. I want you to go find Mordecai, and I don't want you to delay a moment. So rush, rush, rush. So he's now being led around the provinces, around the castle, around the outsides on this horse. This is Jesus and the story of going into Jerusalem and stuff like that. This is the sixth chakra. This is the works, what we're talking about. And this just pisses the dude off to no man, And so this is this idea that what happens is he, let's see, what did we do here? Sleepless, right. I forgot to put in there, but on the fifth one and the back one, this guy finds, that Mordecai is not bowing to him, and he's going to kill him. So he has a gallows cooked up for him that's 5 cubits high. 5's representing the body. So that was taking care of 5. 6 is the sleepless thing, where it came down to him that someone tried to save the king and didn't get anything out of it, And so I want to write that problem. And so this was that's what 6 was. He's got him on the horse and he's brought him. 6 is the gate. That's where he goes and finds him at the gate, the king's gate, and gives him all this apparel and all this stuff, puts him on the horse and moves him around. That is so much a part of being in this meditation situation. It's absolutely cool. All right. That was 6. 7 now shows up. Now, what happens on chapter 7? Chapter 7 is the banquet where Haman winds up at the end dead, because she finally comes and tells what it's all about. If I have found favor with you, oh my king, would you please stop this from happening? Would you please? So this was the plea. And she, who tells you? Who brought this upon you? Who is wanting to destroy you and your kinsmen? And what is this about you? And then all the truth comes out. There's no longer hidden anymore, because this is on the inside now. She's not faking anything anymore. She is more truthful now, because this is where the queen comes into play. She's the queen. And he has found favor in her side, or however that works. And so she tells them that it's the wicked Haman. All right. And so as these things turn out, is that it winds up that Haman winds up being hung from the gallows that had been set up for Mordecai. So there goes the right-hand man. There goes one of the witnesses. All right. That had to go, because she's now in charge. She winds up being in charge of him later on. You'll see that it winds up, let's see how it works in 8. 8 is the idea of control. All right, is a control. When we are snared to the Bible, it's caught to you, and you're snared to the lower mind. And so, and it can't be changed until, so you get a hold of it and you break this change. But when you go over to the other side, it's a snag too. It gets you there, but this time it never can change. It's stuck forever, because you've already did your works. There's no going back. So on chapter 8 in here, we find that the king gives the house of Haman, which is his right-hand man, which would be this house right here, all right, gives it over to his wife, gives it over to the queen, all right, which used to be the Jews' enemy, and now it's into the hands of Esther the queen, which means now they said brought all of the people that were his enemies to his feet, that now they are on the opposite side. There's no more anyone around yet to cause any trouble, all right, to the Jews. she sets Mordecai over the house of Haman. And so, and and then in this age, she wants to say, hey, because age is about control, this idea, I don't want to worry about any future Jews or future. I want them all to be saved. Can you take back your word? And he says, I can't take back my word. Okay. This is talking about the word. I can't take back my word. You will have to fight for it yourself. This is how it works in this Bible. He says, so the king gave the ring over to Malachi. Now Malachi has the word, and he can go down. He sets out the decree that all Jews are supposed to go out there and defend themselves. They're going to take it on themselves, every man for himself, and we're going to take care of this. And this is what happens in number 9, is that take control and over yourself. And when it all comes down to it, there's one province after another province. There was 500 men slain here. There was 300 men here, another 500. So it's all talking about the way that the two sides were now working together. But they were also cleaning out. They were cleaning house. They were cleaning house of anyone and everything that were to come against us, that come against the Jew, come against that person that comes inside of them. And so you would find that, and they would call this the days of Purim. It's just interesting, and he says, and it ends with words, peace and truth. So it's the stories, one right after another, that we talk about in just another form. It's kind of long, but very interesting and beautifully put together. There isn't one thing wrong with this idea that this this was a positive story about Esther. All right, we know that in the end that she becomes, in this thing, she is the positive situation. But you'll have to understand that she represents the Holy Ghost, and we don't, until we have her, all we have is the bitch that he got rid of, the one that didn't answer to him and was on its own. This is religion, the strange woman. I totally understand that's what you have first, and that we learned in our last one is that this is about a lie, that if we can't get the truth, if we have the truth hidden from us, then we are going to be in a situation where, you're just without and poor. All right. And you're going to be believing in the lie no matter what, and it's just very interesting how hard it is to teach people how to change their mind. And it's really just going flipping over from a Western way of thinking, which is about, I have to see everything. I got to touch everything. It has to be what I see. It can't be these things. It can't be things that you don't see. It can't be talking about stuff that you don't see. And so they miss out on the spiritual side of our Bible, and the flesh wins out again. And nothing about flesh and our Bible go together, all right? Except they do. They do. We have our fleshy side, and we have our spiritual side. And you and I can see both sides. It's just a shame that more people can't do it. But anyways, do your best to go out there and try to teach people how to do this. Hope you got something out of this. All right. Esther, absolutely a wonderful show, a wonderful drama, amazing and really wonderful. All right. And it's all about getting through to the other side. That's the coolest thing. All right. If you have any questions, give me a holler. I'm there.